Hello, hello, hello. Colleen here with Chalk Couture. Gonna come in and do a fun project tonight with you guys. I'm gonna actually make myself a shirt for St. Paddy's Day. How exciting. Kind of funny that I don't actually own a shirt that's Irish, believe it or not, even though I am Irish. So I thought, let me put something together real quick because we have a family St. Paddy's Day party tomorrow night. So I came in with an old green shirt that I actually had for a couple years. So technically it is Irish, but I want to jazz it up a little bit for tomorrow. So I am going to use the Who Needs Luck When You've Got This Much Charm transfer. How cute is that? So that is going to go right on my shirt. I already, hopefully you guys can see this, our ink mat is actually underneath my shirt here, and the reason that we use that is that prevents the ink from bleeding through onto the back side of the my shirt. So that's just like a protective barrier. It is sticky, so you can just press down on your shirt or fabric or whatever you happen to be using and make sure that it's sticking on there pretty good. That way your shirt won't move around, the transfer won't slide off, and you're in good shape. So I am going to take my transfer out of its packaging. And as you know, we always write back on the back of our transfer. That way we know to put it on the correct side when we have finished with our project. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down and get rocking and rolling. Pretty simple project, pretty easy. I'm going to do, I think, pretty basic. Because the shirt is actually already green, I think I'm just going to use my black Couture ink for all the words. Who needs luck when you've got this much charm? Then I'm going to just do that all in black. But then I was actually thinking what I might do, and I know I'm breaking and doing a big no-no, but just this once I'm going to do it tonight. I'm using a piece from a retired transfer. I know, I shouldn't do it, but I really needed a bigger size shamrock because I think I'm going to put it on the sleeve and use the gold ink and have a little shamrock on my sleeve. How cute would that be? So let's go ahead and get this on. This will be 1, 2, 3, and you are done because it's just going to be all in simple black. And then I'll dry that off with a hairdryer just to make sure that my ink is nice and dry. And then to permanently set it, all that I'm going to do is run a hot iron over it. And you are good to go. And you can wash it and you can wear it over and over, and it will be permanently set. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and get my Couture ink. Now the one thing with working with ink, it can be a little messy. And I'm a messy crafter to begin with, so for me, I'm super messy. So this ink is the smaller 2-ounce ink. We do have Couture ink that's now in 3-ounce sizes. Once all of our 2-ounce sizes have been sold, every ink and chalk paste that we have is actually going to go to the new fantastic 3-ounce jar, which I love. But in the older jars, the 2-ounce jars, we have this little plastic lid. So I'm just going to try to use that and not get any on my fingers, but most likely I will. And what you want to do is you just want to make sure that if you do have it in your fingers, you're just going to make sure you wash that off, because if you accidentally touch somewhere not on the transfer and you get it on your shirt, you should be able to wipe it off with water, but to avoid that at all costs, I just check my hands every once in a while, and I can just wipe it off with a wet paper towel, which is fine. So let's just go ahead. I'm using my squeegee, I'm taking my ink. Now a little bit of this does go a long way. I always say that, and it's true. So I don't think I'm going to actually use the dots here. I think I just want the words. So I'm just going to go over this. It's pretty easy. You really don't even have to put much pressure at all. Just making sure I'm getting all my lines out, making sure I'm getting all of my silkscreen area covered. I can do this pretty quickly. Easy peasy, nothing hard about it at all. I know that you can, if you'd like, tape down the edges just so that in case you do happen to go over the side of your transfer, you do have that barrier with the tape and it not going over onto your shirt by mistake. Where with chalk paste, we can just use a little bit of water and get that off, and should be the same until you make it permanent with heat setting. Once you heat set it, obviously that's not coming off. So you just have to be careful. I'm kind of a gambler. Not really, but I'm a gambler when it comes to crafting. So I'm going to take my chances and try to not be too messy with this and keep it on the transfer so that I don't have to worry about it going over. So really pretty simple, pretty, especially when you're doing one color. And even when you're not doing one color, it's really not that difficult to use Chalk Couture at all, I have to say. I'm kind of curious how the shamrock is going to come out on the sleeve. I'm really kind of excited about that. That's why I'm kind of sort of rushing through this part of it, because this is the easy part. But how awesome is it that, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about this St. Paddy's party tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, what the heck am I going to wear? Not a problem. I have a Chalk Couture transfer that is perfectly themed for St. Paddy's. So I'm going to make my own shirt. I have gotten so many uses out of this one transfer. It's amazing. Just to decorate my home, to make little cute coasters. Just so many different things you can do. Alrighty. Almost done. Pretty easy. I keep saying how easy it is, but you know what else? It's relaxing, I think. For me, anyway. I like to come home after work and just work on a Chalk Couture project. It's so relaxing for me. I think, hopefully I got everything. The lighting in here is really bad. The light is behind me, so I always tend to block my own light. Hopefully I got all of the silkscreen transfer, but you know what? Oh, see, here's a perfect example. I got a little bit of black ink on my nail. Just want to make sure that I get that off with the paper towel, because if I would have gone and used that nail to lift this up, I would have accidentally gotten a little bit of ink on there, but fortunately I caught that. So I think we're good. I'm not seeing any ink before I'm touching, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab the corner here. And it's best to, so as not to stretch your transfer, to kind of pull from the center. You don't want to pull from the side here. Kind of just go straight down like so. I can see I missed a little bit there, but you know what? It's okay. It makes it look weathered, makes it look a little bit beaten up, and I like that. I like that a lot. Looks like it's been lived in. So I'm just taking the transfer and plopping that right into a pan of water that I have sitting next to me, and I will just let that go and soak in there for a little bit. It is going to stain the top part of my transfer, and that's perfectly fine. So long as my silkscreen area is cleaned off, which I will do. Once it's soaked for a little bit, I will clean it off. And then the last step will be taking a Clorox wipe. I'm just going to move all of these inks out of the way, because I'm realizing as I'm looking at it that you guys can't see the whole bottom of this. So let me slide this up a little bit so you can see. So that is it. That came out really cute. I love it. So I'm going to take a hairdryer to that just to dry the ink. So bear with me for a moment. You want to make sure that the ink is nice and dry before you use your ink on it. You don't want to risk it smearing. apologize. I know that that's very long to listen to a hairdryer when you're trying to watch a video. But actually, you know what I did? As I was holding the hairdryer with one hand, I was trying to stupidly close my ink with the other hand, and you see I got ink all over my hand. Should have just waited and tried to close the ink with both hands. But I'm just going to take a wet paper towel, and it's actually kind of perfect that that happened. I'm just doing this off camera so that I don't get any of the wet paper towel, any water onto my project. But I want to show you, look, came right off. So the ink came right off, not a problem. Now I just need to dry my hands so I can make sure that I want to just touch this real quickly just to make sure that the ink is really nice and dry. It does take, like I said, just a tad bit longer for the ink to dry than it does the chalk paste. So before we heat set this, you cannot forget this important step. Let me just put the lid back on my black. The important step is that you need to remove your mat. And you can see how it went through. It's so good that you have the mat there. I just put my hand on the inside of the shirt, and it was still wet, and it went right onto the mat, which is exactly what it was supposed to do, so that it's not bleeding through to the back side. But I just touched my mat. My mat is still wet. So let's grab the mat out of here real quickly. I'm just going to pull this off camera so I can slide that out like so. And then I'll get my dryer ready. And you can see that it actually did come through on the mat, so it did its job. And then all that you need to do is just run a little bit of water over this. You do not want to use a Clorox wipe on your sticky mat. It will take all the stickiness off. Just run a little water and it'll get all that excess ink off. Now here again, like I said, I got more on my hands. Like I said, I'm always checking my hands just to make sure that I don't have any ink on there. I'm just getting another paper towel just to get all that off. Don't want to get that on my shirt. Now comes the part where we're gonna make it permanent. So we're gonna just take our iron. I'm just gonna get it plugged in real quick. So I just use a regular standard iron. No big deal. That only takes a second to heat up. Just put it on my cotton setting. And then as a barrier, I get a little bit of parchment paper. And I have to be careful because I'm using a fold-up plastic table, and I actually started to burn my table. It's a plastic table, so I just have to be careful because my iron gets so hot that it started making my table bubble from the heat. I should put a towel under there, but that's okay. Not a big deal. It's an old table, and I do beat it up. So here's just a little bit of parchment paper that I'm going to lay down over top of my design. And then we are just going to heat set it. Pretty easy. Just making sure, yep, it's already warm. So you just want to kind of, I turn this in like a circular motion over your parchment paper. Just a few minutes till it gets nice and hot. And then it will be permanent. The fun part's coming up where I'm going to try the sleeve. I can't wait to see how that's going to work. Getting a little adventurous. Nice and hot. And it's interesting too because you can kind of tell when you feel it that it's kind of, I don't know how to say it. I guess baked in, I guess is really how I want to say it. You can feel it when you run your hands over it that it's definitely set. So I think it feels pretty good. I might just give one more go over real quick because my iron is really, really hot now. But I don't want to melt my table. So I'm not gonna do it too much longer. Alright. Let's get this thing unplugged. Because irons get so hot so fast, it's crazy. So I just want to unplug that. I don't want to catch anything on fire. Alright, so that one is done. Now let's move on to the sleeve. I'm excited. So what I did was, I have another mat that I cut into a little, into a piece. So I cut a piece off of the mat. So I'm going to need to do the same thing. I'm going to try to use my stitch line here as centering, kind of the same way that I did on the front of the shirt. I used the V in the shirt as my centering point. I'm going to do the same exact thing with the sleeve. I think this is going to look pretty cool. So black and gold on a green shirt. Pretty neat. So you see, I just kind of roll up the mat like that. It just makes it easier because it is sticky. So once I roll it up and stick it in there, then I just lay it flat like that. It's pretty easy. Then we're just going to move it around because the mat is sticky. So it's sticking to my shirt right now, which is perfect. That's what we want it to do. So I'm just going to get any wrinkles, all of that out of here. Not centered on my mat, but that's okay because I'm still using that line as my center line, even though it doesn't look centered on my mat. I'm still going to use that. So, as I said earlier, I'm being bad. I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to use a shamrock from a retired transfer because I think that'll look cool in there. Now I just have to decide, do I want to use a bigger one or do I want to use a smaller one? I think I'm going to go smaller. So I'm going to take this off. I had labeled back on here. This tells you how old this transfer is. It's actually the clear backing, which we don't really use anymore. But I needed a shamrock, so I had to take it from here. So I'm just going to lay that down like so. And this shamrock I have used a lot. So I hope that it sticks on here pretty good. It's still got some good sticky left to it. So I kind of off-centered that a little bit. It's not perfect. You know what? That is really not straight, at least according to the line. Just say, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it right there, kind of where I had it. And then we're gonna use the fabulous gold ink. I haven't used this one yet, so let's give that a whirl. Get the lid off again. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh, I almost dropped it. That would not have been good. I am not a gold person at all, but look how cool that looks. That was really cool. Just scraping just trying to get all the excess ink off of the top of my lid here back into my jar. Again, trying to be really super careful. I think I managed to actually not get any on me that time. So that's good. I mean, you could probably work with gloves, but yeah, it comes right off your hand, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, this will be super quick too. Oh, that looks so pretty. It looks really cool on the teal squeegee too. So let's put a little of this on. Ah, love it, love it, love it. This is the first time I'm using gold. I can't believe it. It's so funny how I am not a gold person, but I really like it on this. I'm glad I bought it. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. That was it. That is all there is to it. This is a super tiny transfer. Let's take that. Oh, check my hands, check my hands. I do have a little bit of black over there, but I think that's dry already by now. Oh, I love that. Love it, love it, love it. It came out so cute. So let's get my hair dryer plugged in again. And then we're going to make sure that this is nice and dry. Again, apologize for the dryer sounds. That is still a little wet. Bear with me again one more minute. I'm gonna dry this again. Hello, Debbie. Okay, let's give this a whirl. Sorry, Debbie, I don't know if you heard me say hello over the hairdryer. I apologize for that. It is takes a little longer to dry your ink than it does your chalk paste. So I just want to make sure that this is nice and dry before I heat set it with my iron. Let me just give that another test. It's still a little wet. All right, I'm gonna give it a whirl. Let me get my iron going here. Unfortunately, where I am on my craft table, I have no outlets near me. So I'm always having to change out when I go from hairdryer to my iron. I just actually want to close up my chalk paste, or my Chalk Couture ink, sorry. I'm so used to saying paste. And just close that up. I just don't want it to dry out, especially with all this heat by it. So I'm just going to put my plastic lid back on my Couture ink, and then make sure that that's on there nice and snug. I'm just putting my iron on like a cotton setting. Slide this over a little bit. I'm right on the bump of my table here. All right, I'm crossing my fingers. It still feels a little damp, but I'm going to just kind of keep this in one spot here and not try to move it around, and hopefully it doesn't smear because it's not 100% dry. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's hot. This iron kicks butt. This thing gets so hot so fast. Good old-fashioned iron. That's all you need. Nothing fancy. All right, let's see. Oh, you could see the steam coming off of it. That's so funny. I think that's because I'm probably setting my plastic table, making it bubble again. Feels pretty good. I'm going to give it one more second. Like I said, I probably really should have put a towel down first just to protect my plastic table, but that's okay. There goes steam again. Whew. I think that we are all set. Let me just get this iron unplugged again. It just makes me nervous, these irons, with how hot they get. That is it. That is my project for tonight. So I made a really cute, fun shirt that I can wear to a St. Paddy's party tomorrow. How fun. Oh, I got a fuzzy on there. With a cute little gold shamrock on the sleeve. Isn't that sweet? That is my project for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. I like how it's a little distressed too. That's cool. Looks like I've worn it a few times. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate you stopping by to watch me create this super cute shirt. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.